Hi, loves. Welcome to the Purpose Show podcast. I'm extra excited for this episode because it's one of those ones that is just like going to give you an overhaul. If you are in a place either now or in the future where you just feel like, my God, I need to overhaul my entire life. I am not happy. I am not acting the way I want to act. I do not have the habits I want to have. I am not feeling the way I want to feel, thinking the thoughts that I'm okay with thinking. Like I need to just overhaul my life. I talk a lot about taking ownership. There are so many things we cannot control, but there are so many things we can control. And I don't mean that in like a, be controlling way. I mean, taking ownership and realizing like, wow, like external circumstances, I can't really control that, but I can control my perception. I can control my response. I can control so much about how my life goes and how I feel physically, mentally, emotionally. I can control my spirituality. Like I can control so many things and take ownership. And then those things affect my reality. So it's really like from the inside out sort of thing that's going to eventually change your life and really overhaul everything. So if you are in need of an overhaul, we are going to talk today about what I call a life audit. um this is something that I have begun to do the last week of every year, really in depth. I don't know if I've said this in the podcast before, but New Year's Eve and that whole like the days surrounding it that is my favorite time of the year. I love 4th of July just because it's like summer barbecue, friends, fireworks, swimming, so fun. But New Year's Eve is my favorite day of the entire year. Not even New Year's Day with a fresh start, just the day before it, the days before it, because it's a time that I really pause and pull back and take stock of what's going on with me, my life, how I'm feeling, what I want, and just I don't know. It's kind of intense, but it's light at the same time, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna walk you through that. I have done life audits outside of the end of the year because I realized that that's not when this episode is airing. And I did that intentionally. It's right now as I'm recording, my kids they're at their first day of school right now. So we're in this like back to school, like summer's ending. We're getting ready for fall. Like it feels like New Year vibes. It's just like new season. And I just did a life audit with myself over the past few days. I've even gotten really intense with it I think twice over the years, and booked myself like a staycation at a hotel nearby and just blocked out like an overnight for myself to just feel. We talked in a recent episode about valuing yourself and creating space for yourself based on that self-value, and that has become a part of, if I need that, I will take it. And I've done that and just kind of given myself a life audit while I was away and come back just like fresh start and feeling really good. So you don't need to do that. Not everyone can, but let's go over what a life audit is, why you need one, and how to begin doing it. And just so you know, I actually created, not like someone on my team, like me. I got into the platform. I created a PDF by myself, straight from me to you, because I really wanted this to be like perfect and to be a certain way. So I created a PDF that actually goes with this episode. I am linking it in show notes. It's free. It's just an addition to this episode, and it's going to give you all of the prompts I talk about, all the things, the questions you can ask yourself, the things you can think through to give yourself a life audit. It also includes like all the different pillars in your life of like areas in your life to audit, and some like a few like really solid tips on how to be thinking about this life audit, how to be thinking about yourself, what to do if you feel really bad or guilty or like have negative thoughts come up throughout this process, and just like more support in how to do this, because this is a really big deal. This is going to be a good episode. So let's start with why do a life audit. The reasons that you would want and need to do a life audit are many, and they're layered, but mainly it's like what I said at the beginning. If you just don't feel like you like how things are going, it could be in every area. Usually it's like, oh my gosh, like I just feel like I need to hit reset. So that's what this is. The life audit happens because you don't like who you are, not really who you are. That's more of the becoming her journey, but A life audit happens because you don't like who you're being and how you're feeling, and you don't like how things are going. This is like more practical than becoming her. This is more like you're auditing your life. You're not really auditing yourself. You're auditing your life. You're auditing how things are going. We definitely look at the self, and that's in the PDF, but this is just in general, my life. I don't like how this is going. So that's why you would do a life audit. What a life audit is we're taking the main areas of your life and everything that kind of makes up your life, different sections of your home, like different elements and the energetics of your home, like different sub areas of your home, and then sub areas of like your purpose, your work, your business, your money, everything that has to do with that, like finances. If you don't work, just everything underneath that umbrella, the umbrella of relationships. Like there's different umbrellas, different areas, and then sub areas underneath each area. So you go under each of those areas and you just ask yourself a series of questions and you get really real with yourself. You don't need to like journal it out. You can if you want to, but it's a lot. So I personally don't. I just write like keywords or bullet points or like little phrases, like thoughts. I don't journal it all out. It's just too much. You can talk it out to yourself and record it. You cannot record it. You can just sit there and think like you might be an internal processor, whatever works for you. I'm a mix of external processing to myself and internal processing when it comes to life audit. So that's what a life audit is. And I'm going to walk you through some of the prompts that I use for myself to give myself a life audit. And how do you do a life audit? So obviously the dream would be to go away overnight, hell 2 nights if you can, and create space for yourself. This is your life. You deserve it. Sometimes you simply can't do that, and that's fine. But that would be the dream, is to go away and focus on this exclusively. Um, Otherwise, this can be done over the course of several days. It doesn't need to be all in one shot unless you really want it to be. You can just kind of like download the PDF I got you and just look at it like every, so often, every morning, every night for a few days, and just kind of work your way through with a journal, like making notes of what you want to change and work through this life audit slowly. You can block out a weekend day and just like have your spouse or mom or someone take the kids out and like just stay at home and focus on it. You can take yourself out and sit at a restaurant and do a life audit in like a couple hours. You can do this however you want. How often do you do a life audit? I always do one at the end of the year, but I will do another one throughout the year if I feel like I need it. This is here to support you when you feel like you need it. Okay. And then another question I get a lot about this is anyone else involved in the life audit? Yes and no, and also if you want them to be. So I normally do my life audits on my own. I like myself. I like being by myself. I like processing things by myself, but then I very much want to share with people close to me. Like I would definitely, at this point, I would be sharing like, okay, this is what I came up with. This is something that I realized about myself. This is something I really want to change, with Mystery Man. I would, divulge that information to him, open up and like share that with him. And I know his response immediately would be like, amazing. I think that sounds really good. How can I help? And then I would share that with how he can help. I wouldn't be trying to force him to do a life audit or telling him he should or wishing he would. Like if he's curious and has questions and wants to be a part of that with me, I would definitely let him do that or walk him through his own. But this is about me. I'm taking ownership of me. I would probably share it with Brian, especially with parts of it that involved him or the kids. But my life audits are on my own. You can do them with your spouse or partner, or you and your friend can do them for each of you together, whatever you want. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over some of the prompts that I use to help myself audit my life. So, the first thing I do is I choose an area of my life. So, let's say we're going to go over my life and my schedule, like just how things are running. Okay. So one of the prompts I would use is I would kind of mentally enter that area of my life, my schedule, my lifestyle, how my life is going, my routines, things like that. And then I would think about that part of my life and look at the questions. So here's the questions. How do I feel about this part of my life? And then I would think through that and get real with myself and answer it. I like literally am having a conversation with myself, internal or external or a mix of both, where I am answering that question and like really thinking through it. It's not just like not good. I feel not good about it. It's like, okay, I feel pretty good, but I definitely miss my morning routine and I do not like how far off I've gotten with that. What else bothers me about this area? And like thinking through that. Okay, how do I feel? And then how do I want to feel about this area of my life? And getting real there. And then how big is the gap between how I feel now and how I want to feel? And really feeling that. Like, how big does that gap feel? Like, oh my God, there's so much work to do. Or it's not that bad. It felt really heavy, but I look at it and it's actually not that bad. And then how can I close that gap? What would need to change? And thinking through that and just kind of being real with this is all about being real with yourself. Another question I love is what needs healing in order for this to change? Because we don't realize that everything we do is it's coming from within. So, what does anything need healing for this area of my life to get better? What do I want to do in this area of my life, but never actually end up doing? And then why not? You're just asking what and why to yourself. What, why, and how. And you're just giving space to thinking through things that you never think through. And the reason that the fact that you never think through these things and you're just reacting to your life is why it feels heavy and you need a life audit in the first place. Another question I love is what are the possible solutions here so that I can begin making this happen for myself, these changes happen for myself? This is where you do need a journal and you just start freaking brain dumping out any possible solution, as stupid or crazy as it sounds, in your journal, because it just gets the wheels going. You're just getting it all out of your head and onto paper. And you kind of start to see that there's things you can do to make yourself feel better. It's very empowering. Another question I love is what's holding me back from implementing these solutions? And then also, what needs to happen for me to be set free? This is action. Like you need to maybe have a conversation with a spouse, send an email, putting a boundary in place with someone, etc. Things like that. Okay. So that is what a life audit is. That is why you need one. And that is the beginning of how to do it. I want you to go into show notes, okay? Or you know what? Go to allycasaza.com, okay, /life audit, and you'll get this for free. It is a PDF. It's really pretty. It's really fun. It's really easy. And it walks you through more details about this, gives you reminders of some things I shared in this episode, and then literally lists out all the prompts for you. This practice is going to change your life. Go grab it. It's there for you. allycasaza.com /life audit. Practice this, do it. Just try it even a little bit in the morning or tonight before you go to bed. It's a game changer. Love you guys.